Hi, my name's Chris Young. I'm just going to present part 2 of the series of videos I'm going to be doing on building my electric car. So since the last video where we spun the Siemens motor up and tested that that worked properly, I've managed to acquire a whole lot of second-hand nickel metal hydride batteries. So you can see them here. There's about 23 kilowatt hours of them, and I've tested a few of them and they seem to be at around about 70 to 80% capacity. So let's get the camera running. So yeah, that's hopefully going to get me started. I'm not going to plan on using them in the long run, but yeah, it's at least going to get me going. They've got shocking charging efficiency. If you charge them, you get about 70% of the power back out of them from what you put in, so you lose a good 30% of the charge you put into them. So they're kind of not very, compared to lithium iron phosphate batteries, they're really bad. You know, lithium iron phosphate, you get better than 99% charge efficiency, so these are pretty awful, but we're going to see how they go just for an initial getting the car going kind of thing. So I've been working on over the last few months getting the adapter plate sorted out and getting so I can get the motor into the car. So what I've got, we've basically made a spacer. So this fits, the top surface here fits to the bell housing. So that's it there, and the back side there will fit onto the Siemens motor flange. And what we've had to do, it's a little tricky because the BMW flywheels are really thick, so it's not like your normal spacer. You don't end up getting just a thin plate that you can use as your adapter. You've got to make this great big spacer up to get the gearbox the correct distance from the motor. So we've done that, and because it's such a large distance away, I've had to make a flange, and we've got like a bearing which holds the coupler that's going to connect to the shaft of the motor. So the bearing is basically taking the loading off the shaft, so it's like it's a pilot for the coupler, and that will hold the coupler basically in here. So I've got this coupler here which fits into the bearing, which fits into this ring, and I've also got the end of a BMW crankshaft, which I've pressed the correct spline fitting into the crankshaft. So I've just machined out the crankshaft and pressed the spline into it. So this is basically going to fit onto here, so that just goes nicely onto there, and then that couples to the motor and it all just drops in like that. So, and the top part of what I've got here is I've cut the friction plate off the clutch disc, so there's no clutching surface anymore. It's just the spring mechanism that I've got left and the spline in the centre, and I've bolted that onto a nicely machined bit of steel, which then fits onto here. So it keeps the spring mechanisms, which is kind of good. It keeps everything soft on the shaft, so there's no really harsh torques being transmitted through the shaft. So that's the progress I've made. I've also made a this is my motor. I've made a mounting system to fit the motor into the car there, so that's actually finished, and it also holds the controller, so it's actually upside down there, goes this way around, and the that mount there will be for the and that mount there goes onto the original engine mounts, and the top surface is here. It's hard to see up on this angle, it's actually on its end, so but these two top surfaces here and here are what the controller sits on. So we'll go ahead and put these all together, and you can see how it's done.